think we're rolling, guys.
Hello, everybody.
See here, we're still good. There we go. Okay, we're good. YouTube has picked us up. The YouTube dollars are gonna start rolling in. You know,
I'm waiting to see those dollars.
Yeah. What's new, guys? How you been?
I'm out here in the national forest. Where we at, Yvonne?
Black Hills.
Black Hills. We're in the Black Hills.
Which Dakota is that? South or North
South.
Dakota? South Dakota.
Went and saw the dead presidents. You know, the long line of those dead presidents.
You want to
Not the
spearfish?
band. I thought you meant the band.
Yeah.
So
we're going to spearfish after this. Yeah.
I did the spearfish the Dakota 5.0 like 3 or 4 years.
That's right.
Definitely with Derek.
Yes.
Yeah, temporarily he's done it like, I don't know, 10 years or something, and his buddies have all been doing it since like the beginning. That's a great race.
What is it? Is it a gravel race or a mountain bike race?
The Dakota 5.0. It's a mountain bike race.
Is it hilly or what kind of track? Is it
Yeah,
track like?
Oh, it's most of it is single track. So you leave out of town and it's a gravel climb up, and then you jump into the single track, and it's a lollipop loop, and they reverse it every year. So
Nice.
I thought that was a road ride. Didn't you say it was a road ride?
The Dakota 5.0? No,
Yeah.
that's gravel.
Which one did you do that was a road ride? Didn't you do a road ride with him up here?
A road ride?
Maybe.
No.
No. Maybe. Okay, I'm confused.
So they do the Dakota 5.0, and they also do, what's it called? The Gold Rush 100%.
Yes.
Oh, I have heard about that. Yeah.
And then, which is really cool. And it's another one that's kind of up, and you turn around and come back down, or I think it's a straight climb, maybe. And then they also do a winter fat bike race in the winter.
Oh.
And I
Fat
forget
bike racing is
nice.
fun. Have you ever done any fat bike racing, Jason?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
I
yeah.
Done a bunch of the fat
Jason,
bike
you
stuff.
should tell your story about where you almost won. Remember?
Oh, out there at the Triple D.
Tell
Yeah.
me about it.
Here.
Yeah. So
Here. Yeah.
So the Triple D it's over in Dubuque. Is it Dubuque, Iowa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dubuque, Deming, and I forget the other one, Denver. And it's a lollipop loop. So it snows the night before. So I'm leaving Iowa City at like 5 in the morning, and it's in 6 inches of snow, like 10 below or something. It's super cold.
Back when Jason was adventurous.
So I drove out. I told Linz when I left, I was like, I might just turn around and come back. But I got out there and I forgot about the time. Was there a time change? Oh, my clock on my truck was off. So I thought I was going to be late. I ended up just in time to start the race. Ended up dead last. And I'm following these guys, and I get into the front with like the front 3 guys. And the first guy, who's won the race like 10 years in a row, he makes this turn into this industrial park behind this building. And me and the next guy are like, is this the right way? Because my Garmin's telling me no. Oh, no, this is the way. And I'm like, okay, he's won the race. How many times? He would know. So he leads like 6 of us off-road and off the course completely. We end up back on the course behind everybody.
Oh, my gosh.
So we worked our way back through the pack again, but it was a 75-mile out and back, essentially. And like, I think the high of the day was like maybe 19.
Oh, how do you fuel? Like, how do you like just prepare for a ride? Like, I mean, that's so long on the bike. Like, how long were you on the bike for? Like, probably 5 hours,
7 or 8 hours.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah.
See, I think my problem with fat bike racing is temperature control. Because
Too hot, too cold.
I sweat too crazy,
Yeah.
And I just feel like no matter how many layers I try to do, I just can't get it right. Like, I think I could ride fat bikes, but if I'm not trying to do any kind of effort, just go on easy zone 2.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like I got to the point with like winter and cold not winter riding so much, but just like those cold days where it's like if I can get away with not wearing an article of clothing, I can suffer through it, because like that first 10 minutes is cold. But
I don't know
then
if they'll let you ride it naked.
I
I don't
mean,
think so.
you,
You gotta have some
if
kind
you
of
talk to
clothes
the
on.
right people, I bet you get a free entry.
So I wore 45 North, the Japanthers, not the Japanthers, Ragnaroks, with merino wool socks, and then I had just Pearl Zumi winter tights on, and merino wool chamois, and then I had like a base layer, and then a merino layer, and then like a windbreaker. They got a vest on underneath and a windbreaker, and gloves were. I think I probably took 2 sets of gloves, a light and a heavy.
Did you have pogies?
No
pogies.
No.
Yeah, Jason's crazy like that.
And then I do a neck gaiter and the 45 North, the greasy merino skull cap that comes down over your ears.
Yeah.
I love that thing.
I put that on. I sweat right through it. Then it's like I have this cold, wet rag
I'm
on
the
my
same
freaking
way.
head.
I'm with you, Ria. Like if I sweat so much that it's just if I can get away with not wearing it and just still be a little bit warm, I'd rather do that because I heat up so fast.
That's why it's so hard to do winter races.
Yeah. Do you do well in the heat?
For me?
Yeah.
Extreme? Man. I guess if I look at like Heiko, it was 90 some degrees. I did okay. I had other issues, but the heat wasn't affecting me that much.
Yeah.
I think once I get acclimated and do a few couple 60-mile rides outside, I think then I'm
Graham, do you like the heat?
Man, I do well with the heat if I could get myself heat acclimated.
Yeah.
But if I it's like one limiting factor that I've found about myself is like, I might have the legs to go out and do it like an off the couch big ride. But if it's hot and I haven't been riding outside when it's hot, then I suffer.
You're gonna melt.
I get so hot. I mean, Core 4, my wife won't ever let me forget. I came across Core 4 and I was like, I need medical attention because I was so hot, like just like heat stroking, and I just like threw a bunch of ice packs down my jersey. But it was
your wife
a low moment. It was a low moment.
She was probably like, I had your child and I didn't need this much help.
Yeah,
and
I
you do a bike ride.
I literally think she said that to me within the first something along those lines within the first 5 minutes of me sitting there. She was like, "Well, I hope you had fun, and just so you know, this isn't real suffering."
That's right. This is just the beginning.
So you mentioned something about nutrition. I do remember I did pretty well on my nutrition on that fat bike race. I ate a good breakfast, and then I was eating stroopwafels like every half an hour or something. And then
that feels right for a fat bike race. Just waffles.
At the turnaround,
you gotta keep them on your body though, so that it's still
there were 3 stops.
Edible.
There were 3 water stops, and everybody kind of stopped at all of them. And the first one was a little restaurant, and there were snacks and stuff in there, and I probably had something there, banana or something. And then the turnaround was a pizza shop. So what worked out was when we leapfrogged through the pack again, and I knew the guy that was going to win it, who had won it like 10 years in a row, Michael Manny, and he's out ahead. I knew there was a guy behind him, and I knew I was next in line, so I knew I was in 3rd place. I'm like, I'll at least get 3rd podium. So as I'm getting to the turnaround, the pizza joint, a couple guys come up behind me. Fuck. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to go in the pizza shop. And as we go into town to the pizza joint, Manny and number 2, 2nd place, are on their way out of town. All right. Well, I'm not going to catch them, but 3rd place is doable for me. So we go into the pizza shop. We're all eating stuff, and I just kind of
the old Irish goodbye.
Yeah. And I went out the front door and I let it slow, and I ran to my bike and jumped on and just hammered it. I took off, and I got a good gap on him. And man, the 3rd place guy caught me at like 8 miles to go, I think it was. And he passed me, and he ended up beating me by like a minute. So
Well, you definitely gave it all you could.
Well, what was your excuse though? Like, you were gonna
What's that?
remember? You remember, like he bumped
Oh,
you out off.
He did take me out.
Yeah, there you go. That's the excuse. He took him out.
The snow was real loose and soft, and because it was freezing cold out. And he goes to pass me. And, when you're on a fat bike, if you get off of that snow track,
You're done.
Like,
you're done.
Done.
Yeah.
You slow down immediately, and if you don't fall, well, he gets up beside me, and we bump bars, and I lost it and went down.
Dude,
Crashed
he got
out.
contested.
He got caught up in me, huh?
Did you go to the Spirit of Gravel shaman that was there and protest the
Right.
the
UCI style? You gotta contest
UCI.
the.
You know what? I thought,
UCI.
he didn't fall, but he came off his bike and waited until I got up. And then he rode away, and I figured, well, I'll just catch him and pass him and take him out. I couldn't.
You should have.
Yeah, I would have pushed him down.
I couldn't pass him. I was tired.
Slapped him with a stroopwafel or something like that.
That's
You want to
how.
throw those snowball.
That's
That's
how
fair.
Yvonne was today. We did 40 miles on the Mickelson Trail today.
Oh,
And,
nice.
It's a pretty hilly rail to trail system. I think we did 45 miles, and I think we ended up with like over 2,000 feet of climbing
Yeah.
on the rail trail.
On a rail trail.
Section, yeah.
Well, it's just a big climb up. It's going to get over the Rockies, If they're going over the Rockies, they're just going up.
We went up, down, then you get like a low flat section, and then we had to climb the average of 6 to 7% for almost 4 miles. And that repeated several times. So we had a bunch of it is very touristy here. We had a bunch of those the Chinese e-bikes racing us, trying to race us uphill, And then they get up, they're sprinting past us, and we're not gonna let these human powered bikes beat us. Then they get to the top of the hill, and they were taking a break, and then we'll catch them again, and they come back again. We didn't see them after probably once we crossed 20 miles. It was good though, but with about a mile to go, I sensed blood in the water, and I put an attack on Yvonne, and she had no answer. It was kind of like an Unbound last week.
Well,
that was it. She was left in the dust.
Something reminded me. You were talking about nutrition, Jason. Did y'all hear the interviews with Cam Jones, the winner of Unbound, and how much he was eating?
Yeah,
per
and
hour?
Drinking.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it was 190 grams of carbs.
200 grams in the bottles, right?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
measured it all out, and that is insane. Just to have my stomach would be outside my body. I'd be a diabetic. Sure.
Yeah, sir. And also, if you ate that much, I feel like for us, probably let's say you have 3 200-gram bottles in, let's say, 30 miles, 40
200
miles.
grams.
I'm like,
thick.
you won't be able to eat anything else for the rest of if it's 100 miles, you're done.
Yeah.
You won't be able to process anything.
Yeah.
Well, I guess he found a way to do it. What's crazy too is when you get into those higher zones, your blood leaves your stomach. So your digestion just stops completely. So that means that he was has trained his stomach to overcome that, or he was sitting at zone 3, zone 4 the whole day instead of, which is crazy to think.
Probably after because they were talking that, they couldn't believe the time gap that they had gotten on the main group chasing them. So maybe once because I think I watched a little bit of interview where he said once he got in there, the other guy, the World Tour rider, Simon, right? Simon Pelot, coached him through the rest of the ride. So I was telling him hey, don't surge. Let's just stay here, just keep this going. And so he said without him, they probably would have been caught. But they were able to work together.
Yep, Simon Pelot, he's a breakaway specialist in the World Tour. So and there was another thing I heard on it may have been Payson's podcast. I don't remember which one, but they were talking. There's been the controversy around like the quads, like the side by sides, and the film crew
Yeah.
giving a draft to both the men's and the women's race. So like, what's his name came out and said they totally were chasing them. Like Simon Pelot was like, every chance you get to get up close to that thing, get as close as you possibly can and draft off of it. And it's like, it's not his fault.
Well,
they're racing. They're on bikes. Get out of the way.
They have to film the ride too. They have to film the race, right? Because if they don't film it, people are gonna complain. Why we're not seeing the brakes and stuff? Well, so they have to be there at some point.
How do
some of those?
How do they feel that in like the Tour de France or a big road ride?
It's still a controversy, because it'll happen, especially in like World Tour races that are like, and you have say it's a French race and you got a French rider that's in the break.
Yeah.
You will see it. Basically, they'll say, oh, it's the camera bikes, the photo bikes, like everybody surrounds them, but they will definitely like help those guys along. And it happens with the favorites as well. And it just, I think it's the job and responsibility of the camera people, but like Aria said, you've got to film it. So like, what are you going to do? And drones aren't to the point where they can do that.
No.
So,
I mean, you would have the cost of, there's huge drones that you could fly, but you probably need, a couple of those, and each one like $14,000, and then managing the filming, the film on those drones, because they, we're not there yet. So the helicopter side by side is, we're in the middle of Kansas nowhere, so there's no internet. Like, I feel like if you're in France, you're in the city, you got good reception, so you are able to get, content out. But Kansas, you get on some of those roads, there's no reception. So,
the way they do it, the way they do it in the pro races is they boost the signal with airplanes. So they have airplanes circling the race, and that's like their signal. So when they go into like these mountain passes or like really, poor reception areas, because there's not a whole lot of 4G or 5G in Europe. So they have to use those airplanes and repeaters, and sometimes like even on the motorcycles too. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So in lifetimes equivalents, it's the Starlink, so.
Oh, you go fly a drone over there, Rhea.
Yeah, you better not. You get a cease and desist.
I'll turn you in.
I'm gonna get my Part 107. Then nobody can tell me nothing.
Oh yeah.
I just flash that card. I'm like, talk to the card, man. Oh, wait a minute. That's it. Get out of here.
Hey, I think I just saw that the Gold Rush Gravel Grinder is this weekend. And you're right there, buddy. Are you gonna do it?
Well, we're gonna do the Pine Island Gravel.
I think that's the same thing. I think they're just calling it something different now. Yeah, I was trying to figure it out.
Yeah, that's where we're headed after this. Thursday, we'll pack up our stuff. Maybe I'll give you guys a view of the forest. We're just in the forest. There's nothing going on.
Is it dry?
There's a lot of mosquitoes out here.
Oof.
Is it dry?
Yeah, it's pretty dry actually. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, I believe. So, but not bad, Yeah, but the riding's fantastic. So we're gonna do, Ivan, what's the Needles? The Needles Highway or something? It's really, really beautiful. Yeah. So we're gonna ride that 34 miles.
So the gravel grinder, you doing the 60?
Yeah.
How much is that? 5,000 feet?
Yeah, around 5,400 or something. Like, it's pretty, like a lot of climbing.
How's it?
I think like the first 20 miles.
Is it big climbs or?
Yeah. The first 20 miles is like a huge climb, and then you get to the top, you kind of descend a little bit, but then there's like little kickers all throughout, and then you do like one last one, and then it's all downhill from there. Ivan's doing the 100.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Yeah. Well, it's less elevation for the 100 than driftless that we did.
I like that about Yvonne. She doesn't F around.
Yeah. Driftless was 11,000. I think this one's like 8,000. So
she's like, I'm gonna do the 350. I'm gonna do the 100.
Is it at altitude?
6,000.
So yes.
Yeah.
So you feel it. Yes.
You feel it.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother you, does it?
No. I most of my life, I lived at 6,000-7,000 feet. So I think there's still some residual benefits there. So it doesn't affect me as much.
Is that what Uganda is?
Yeah.
Dang, I had no
Yeah.
idea.
I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
Yeah, most of East Africa sits pretty high, 6,
Yeah.
7, 8,000. So we're altitude people. So that's why those runners, the Kenyan guys, they come down there in Europe and run. It's like they got oxygen for days. So not bad.
Yeah, but because you're on the south of Southern Hemisphere, doesn't that affect
Yeah.
you?
No.
That
Not
means
at
you're
all.
shorter.
Yeah. We just it makes you shorter, but the lungs
Which way
are
is the
still
toilet spin?
the same
Wait,
way as
is that a
yours.
real thing?
No.
That's not a real thing, is it?
What's that?
There is, like, if
The
you go to the
toilet
equator.
I don't think so.
No, but if you go to the equator, they have like a little like science experiment where you could see the magnetic poles affecting how the water it just spins in the ball and it never drains
Because the Earth is flat.
So what do you think of
I know,
magnetic?
right?
What do you
Don't
think
even go there.
What do you think of magnetic pedals?
I'm all for. I was actually looking at those because like I got this Frankenstein bike that I
Yeah.
mountain bike with, but I also like to have like flats on, and so I'm kind of on board with it, but I guess I'd have to ride it first and see how it feels.
I wonder what it would. I mean, magnets pick up metal shavings and all kinds of shit.
Ooh, that's a good
Wondering
point.
how often you'd have to clean it and keep it clean.
So the lady I stayed with in Emporia this year, she rides magnetic pedals, and she loves them.
Yeah.
She seems to be that's her go-to, and she has great things to say about it. And I watched her clip out, and like it's really strong grip.
Yeah.
How did she get out of them? Same way, like
same way.
like
You just kind of
twists?
clip the same way,
Hmm.
but it's you locked in. You locked in. I'm sure it's not as strong as the Time or Shimano,
It might be.
but it looks like I could
it might
actually
be stronger.
hear how disengaging from the pedals.
You know what
So
I'm
that
looking
has-
for? I'm looking
What?
for a mountain bike flat pedal that is truly flat on one side, and then on the other side it has like an SPD clip.
Oh, dude, there's Ivan. What are your pedals that you ride?
Shimano makes them.
Shimano
No,
makes it good.
but it's not flat on. It's not completely flat on one side.
Oh yeah,
Is it?
Yeah.
Let
For the
me
most
find
part.
that link. Yeah, she's got them. I used to have those pedals on my flat bike.
I knew it was a good idea to join this podcast. I'd learn
Yeah.
something every once in a while.
No, they're pretty nice.
I think the 5 somethings, the 530s or
Yeah.
503s or something.
Those blue ones.
Let's see here. Yeah, Ivan's has had them in pretty much every bike. Ivan, what's that pedal called?
Are they like good wide body too with like good pins?
Yeah,
Because
They've
like, I
got
wonder.
good pins. They're not super wide,
Yeah,
but you can replace the pins.
Like they're
right?
not like a Chester or whatever.
or like a stamp or something like
Yeah,
that.
let me
from
put it.
Canondale.
Let me put it in chat for you here. It's
Those-
XT.
BMX downhill stuff. Man, those pedals are getting freaking wide.
Yeah,
Big platforms. I couldn't handle it. I gotta be pushed in. I can't do flats.
yeah. I like flats for just like cruising around. I've got the XTRs on there on my gravel Franken bike right now, and it works well for like riding around in like true mountain bike flat shoes, but it's still not the grip that I want if I want to go rip a trail.
Yeah. Power meter pedals or crank arms. Power meter crank arms. What do you think?
Power meter pedals.
I lean towards the pedals.
Pedals. Like you get one set of pedals and then
Swap 'em.
have a power meter for every single bike.
Yeah.
Like those Asioma Faveros, whatever. Like I have a pair of those on that I ride on my road and gravel bike, and I love them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still haven't gotten a pair of power pedals or power anything yet.
That's what
But I did hook up my dropper post.
I saw that.
Oh, Yeah, that's right. You sent that picture. I was like, whoa, wait a minute.
And everybody's giving me shit about it being halfway down. I'm like, I was just wanted to show you that it was down. I mean,
That it was
I don't know.
used.
I just put it down part way and jumped off the bike, took a quick snap, and got back on.
We
Figured
were
as
just
much.
making sure you knew how the dropper seat post technology axis works.
Like, Lane, you don't even put it the whole way down. Well, you know what? I don't even fucking use the thing. I haven't even used it yet, I don't think.
I was taken back when I saw that you'd put it on. I was like, holy cow. I
Yeah.
did not know. I did not think. Yvonne, can you text me that link right there? I mean, just a highlight.
It's
Yeah,
a nice
I couldn't
drop.
believe it.
I like that Fox transition. It works really nice.
I knew you would be converted.
I just have to try it. Like, actually think
You know,
about it and put it down and
and
see if it works.
in all honesty, like I was kind of skeptical about droppers, and then I went to Colorado to mountain bike there, and man, some of those downhills, it was just so steep that without shifting that center of gravity, I mean, you could get over your seat and go in the back. I just thought it was like endo, like pretty quickly.
Yeah. So maybe on the steep stuff, but when I'm riding and going through a rocky section, downhill or whatever, I'm using that seat as I'm pedaling and out of the saddle or back and forth or whatever to kind of maneuver the bike. So I'm using like the inside of my thighs and stuff to move that seat around. And I've found that when I drop the dropper, that's not there. And it throws me off a little bit. Because I'm used to trying to adjust the angle on the seat or on the bike and the back. And I don't know how to explain it, but I definitely use the seat with my legs to try and keep myself upright and going straight through rocky sections.
Some of us real pros, we don't worry about that.
Yeah,
we know how we are one with our seat post, dropper seat post, and we can
but this
make
is
it work.
This is brand new technology. This hasn't been around for a very long time. Dropper posts are really just brand new to mountain bike, essentially.
Yeah.
So
sure.
I'm going to take some time to really get to learn how to use it properly.
Yeah.
Jokes aside, you're right though. Like I think learning how to use a dropper post is, I mean, it's a difficult thing to do. Like to just naturally know when to use it, because I think the best people, I mean, if you watch the pros, their seat posts are up and down and up and down and up and down, like all the time. Like Rhea, pro, like absolutely pro. But like, at the same time, it takes a while to get there because like it's almost like you have to simultaneously think about shifting, what gear you got to be in, like, and dropping your post, and like it's difficult for sure.
Yeah. I am liking my electronic shifting though. I will say that.
Yeah.
You don't
like the transmission?
However, I'm a little bummed out because I saw this thing showing the new Shimano shifting compared to the SRAM, and the Shimano's faster.
It is.
Okay. Can we talk about
Graham,
that for a second, though?
Graham, I want to hear.
All right. Well, for one thing, so I know SRAM pretty well. So the reason that SRAM is perceived, like the transmission group set is perceived to be slow, is because the chain is mapped to the cassette. So it has specific shift points, which is most efficient and allows you to shift under load, right? It gives you that sturdiness. And so like I agree with you. Like if you're trying to rip through your gears and you're doing that, it doesn't feel like it's moving fast enough. But like what I've noticed is that I am constantly just moving it through the cassette all the time. Like I'm shifting constantly. And it allows me to do that because no matter if I'm in between shifts or if I'm, on a gear, I can always be putting down power. And I think that's a really, really good thing to have. Now, the feeling of being able to mash your shifter and fly through the cassette, which Shimano does, I mean, that's a great feeling. But I think like for me, and this is just a personal thing, when I'm doing that, I tend to overshift. Like,
Yeah.
so especially if I'm going up, like say I got a big steep hill coming up in front of me and I try to get into an easy gear, I get in too easy of a gear and then that kills my momentum. So I would
Kills the
rather be
legs
on the,
too.
yeah, I'd rather be on the other side where it's okay. Maybe I'm cranking a little bit harder at a lower cadence, but
So
I'm
you
going to
get
fall into the right,
yeah.
into the right gear. And when I feel it start to go the wrong way, I can correct that in the moment.
Yeah. No, I do. Yeah, I like the speed of Shimano, but I kind of like the predictable results that I'm gonna get with SRAM. With every shift.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the new group set looks cool though with Shimano. Like, I mean, it's a little bit lighter than their current XTR group set, and you get the electronic shifting, which is cool. And they're using still using a derailleur hanger, which
yeah, which is
I don't
1925.
I know
You know.
I don't know if they're trying to avoid or if they're bound by patents, which like
Well,
with
no, because the UDH. That's why I didn't understand when I saw that they were still doing the old school derailleur hanger, because UDH is UDH universal, right? So it's open to. But
well
maybe it's open if you're using SRAM stuff.
Well, I mean, I think it's open to like, bike manufacturers can make a UDH dropout.
Yeah.
However, what you're attaching to that UDH, that's where the patent begins.
Yeah,
And
SRAM.
I'm sure that SRAM, like that's what SRAM does so well is they patent things and they sit on it for a while and then they release it. But
Well, and that's right, because I feel like the battle for the longest time, Shimano couldn't do completely wireless because there was some, patent issues between them and SRAM. Because SRAM, so I don't know if something changed though. I tried to look up to see if maybe SRAM gave up, but I couldn't find any concrete.
It might have ran out of time.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're only a certain amount of time.
Well, yeah, it must have, because like there have also been I don't know how it works.
Campagnolo came out with theirs.
Yeah, Campy came out with theirs, and then there's like Wheel Top and some of these other.
That's why Matt Beers had all those problems. He was riding that Campagnolo drivetrain.
Was he on Campy? On the
Yeah.
new Campy?
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Pinion came out with their wireless.
The Pinion one's pretty good,
Yeah.
Let's see. John Smith said, I did ask if Shimano or SRAM axis, DI or SRAM. Why not Shimano Auto Q? I don't know the Q Auto. What's that?
Is is the Auto Q the wait, what
Let me
is
see
that?
if I can find anything.
John, give us some
I
more
don't
info.
think.
What's the
John, give us some more information on the Q Auto.
Auto
Graham,
Q.
you were talking about the new Shimano rear hub that charges the shifter.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know
Is that what it is?
But yeah, there's Shimano's got like
yeah. Okay, I see.
Is that what he's that what he's talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
yeah, it's insane. I'm looking at it here. I don't know if I can share the screen. I'll try. But basically, it uses AI to automatically shift for you. From what I'm seeing here. Yeah.
So we're getting away from
Auto Shift Dynamo Free Hub. Yeah.
Yeah. Rear hub learns your shifting and gearing and shifts automatically as you ride. Interesting.
Wait, so is that on the new XT? What is this? Like, is this option?
I think it has to work in tandem with the new wireless thing. I think if I'm saying this correctly.
So you're telling me I could buy like a brand new like S-Works?
It's a whole drivetrain.
Epic Evo with auto shift where I don't have to shift anymore.
Yeah, you don't have to shift anymore. You just crank on it until somebody hacks it while you're in a race. You're about to win.
That's fair.
Finish a sprint.
So
put in the easiest
guys,
gear.
though, think about how clean your cockpit would look, though.
Oh, yeah.
All you have is a dropper and brake levers.
Yeah,
like that would be pretty cool.
See, I personally think I don't think things are going to go to belt driven. I think it's still going to be chain driven because that's the easiest and most efficient drive system is the chain and gears. But I do think this auto shifting thing in the back is probably where it's all going to end.
Yeah, I mean like on e-bikes, there are, especially on the Bosch motors, there's an auto or EMTB, or they call it auto mode on the road bikes.
Yeah.
And it adjusts the power that it applies based on like what the power is that you're putting down.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, so, and that is such an incredible mode to ride in. Like, it's so fun because it gives you power when you need it. It smooths it, and then it adjusts and saves you battery over the time. So, like, taking that experience and putting that into shifting, like, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, and John just said that you can actually override the AI's shifting, but it does measure the gradients and stuff as you're riding. That's how it knows how to, to shift. Freaking crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
Well, isn't that kind of like what the flight attendant system tried to mimic, right? Like it will measure, right, the force and stuff that you're putting down and anticipate that, okay, you need to farm up the suspension,
So I guess that begs the question then, would you rather have dream bike, SRAM with flight attendant, so like XX1 with flight attendant on it, and the power meter built in to where it is adjusting your suspension, 19 times per second, or Shimano auto shift, no flight attendant, to where your suspension isn't great all the time. It's just like, it is what it is, but you don't have to shift anymore. I know my answer, but I want to hear your answer. And anyone
Jason,
else
you go fast. I want to hear.
In the chat, like if you
chat, let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
I think the auto shift. I would probably go that way, because here's my thought. Will we really be able to? Can you tell when your suspension adjusts 19 times a second?
No, I don't. I feel like for most of us, I don't think so. Right? I think the benefit will come in. I think I would rather have the auto shifting. Like, wow. I love the idea of the flight attendant.
Have you ridden it?
Man.
Have you ridden it?
The flight attendant?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I haven't.
Well, I won't. Ignorance. I can't blame you for ignorance, but guys, like the auto shift, I do agree is cool, but flight attendant is amazing what it does. Like, especially if you're trying to ride hard and ride fast, because it firms up, locks out that suspension the moment it feels you put down power. If it feels you there's so much that goes into it. So for me, SRAM, XX1, flight attendant, y'all can auto shift all day long. Because my other thing about auto shifting,
we're gonna cut you because we won't have to worry about all our shifting and stuff. So when
what's nice, what I think is nice is you can it will smooth out your power.
Yes. Yeah.
It will realize that you're making the best, because if it's changing the way you're shifting, you can see how much power you're putting down based on either heart rate or a power meter.
But so the shifting is going to be really about your cadence, right? So does that assume that it has like an ideal cadence that it thinks that you should maintain? Because say that you're a grinder and you pedal at like 68 RPMs, that's like what you do. That's not the most efficient maybe way to go about it. But say at the other end, you're someone who spins at 95 RPMs. Like, if it's going to tailor it towards your habits, like, is that good?
If you look at your Zwift or not Zwift, Zwift, or like Ruby or something, you can program in or kind of say what power you want to maintain for whatever training ride you're doing, and it'll just maintain that power. You shift all you want, and it's going to essentially maintain that power for you.
So and John just said that.
Go ahead.
No, John said that auto IQ, like if you like, for example, like you say, if you're marching and you override it and change the gear because that cadence is too high for you, you'll learn that.
Yeah.
And then next time it'll adjust make sure that you're in the right gear.
Yeah.
But what if
you can mash?
I think the flight attendant might be better for definitely a mountain bike
Shawamagan. I think that's
off-road
where
stuff.
flat.
But for a gravel, I think the intuitive shifting would be better because you don't need so much suspension on a
Yeah.
gravel race.
All right, so we need to get our bike build set up so that when we do the Hennepin, what's that gravel race that you got down there?
Me?
Yeah, in the south. Yeah.
Hennepin?
Right, what's it called? There's a gravel race. What's it called? I forget.
There's
is it
Gravel
Fondo?
Wars. Huh?
I forget. There's a gravel race that you have done in Southeast I wanted to do. Let me see. Somebody
Yeah,
sent it to me
please.
here.
Hennepin, the Hennepin Canal. That's in,
Maybe
like,
South
Illinois.
Carolina.
Could
Let's
be.
see.
Well, it's close.
Yeah, right? Same neighborhood, right?
Yeah, we got to go over the mountains though. We have these things called mountains here.
So
Hey, we had mountains here in South Dakota today.
Yeah, Iowa looks so pretty today. Yeah,
Iowa?
I'm kidding.
My good friend Carter is up here, and I took him mountain biking up on in the mountains.
Yeah, why didn't Carter make an appearance? I thought he was going to join us today.
He got shy.
He was going to, and he was like, I don't know. And I was like, yeah, I got to set up another mic and headphones and stuff. And
well,
yeah, I don't know if I got enough room on the couch.
That's a huge couch there.
The celebrity couch.
So question for you guys. So I picked up some Silka bike wash stuff. You know they
It's
have
amazing.
their step system. They have drive step 1 and then all step 4. And then Markov has kind of something similar. Have you used Markov and before and then switched over to Silka or vice versa? What are you using now?
I used Muck-Off forever. And then we started using the Silka bike wash at our shop. And when I saw the bikes like that, I was like, okay, I'm going to try it. So I bought the whole system. Yeah. And it's amazing. Like, it's so easy. You like spray it on there. You don't even have to really like scrub that much. Like if you go through all the steps, like it degreases everything, and it protects your brakes, cleans your frame, like gives you the ceramic coating to where that's the really nice thing. Is like once you get that ceramic coating on there, the mud just like falls off. Like it doesn't.
That's my bike's gonna be clean all the time now.
Yeah, it's so nice. It's like wax your chain and use that bike wash, and you're good. Like,
I'm not ready to commit yet to waxing my chain yet, but I will.
You'll come around.
I just don't know. You know, I just kind of spray the chain and clean it off and move on.
I think we're gonna get the system at our shop.
The Silka.
Yeah.
The Croc Porinetta 4000 or whatever it's called.
Yeah, we're talking to our Silka Cervelo rep. What else is he doing?
So you're gonna get some.
I think we might be I think we might be adding a different line.
Can I guess what it is?
Can
I guess what it is? Does it start with the C?
Yeah.
Canyon?
No.
Canondale.
Canondale. Yeah, Canondale.
I think we've been looking at Canondale.
Are you gonna get a Super 6 Evo?
Ooh. Can you get me a discount on one?
Yeah. I'll take one too. I need a nice fast road bike.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
And if I get a discount, the accountant won't even have problems with that. You know,
and it makes you that much faster too when it's on discount.
John wants to know what's the point of the graphene detail kit in Silka.
The graphene detail kit.
Yeah.
What's the? So there are videos out there that they all do that Silka puts together for each, like detailing exactly what each one of them does. I forget what that does here. I'd have to go look downstairs. I just spray it on there and do what it tells me to do. I'm not smart enough to.
I know. I tried to read. So what I kind of saw looks to me Silka's washing system is more like like not oil based. Looks like they use a lot more science. I know Markov uses science too, but looks like they do a lot of like pH formula level stuff to have to make their cleaning supplies.
Oh wait, I didn't even realize what this was. I just looked it up. The graphene detail kit. It's like a wax. It's like a graphene wax that you put on your frame.
Kind of like when you wax your car or something.
Yeah, I think so. But I think like so I have like the graphene spray wax.
Yes, I have that also.
That's what I use.
That's step 3, right?
Yeah.
Step 3 in the system.
Yeah. And that stuff I think accomplishes the same goal, which that's that whole idea of like if you coat it, then that gives you like everything just kind of like slides off of it from there, right? And like it like protects things.
So, serious question here: is this stuff similar to Dawn dish soap?
No,
it's
I
not.
think there's some science. I think there's some science behind it, James.
It's nothing like Dawn dish soap. I mean, that takes oil off.
I don't know.
That,
you know? We should take a little duck like that's covered in oil and see like what cleans it off better, the Silka clean system or Dawn dish soap.
Yeah, so I think John's like, why graphene weight, durability? Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if it's the durability that graphene has. That's probably why they decide to use that. You know, because gravel, people are kicking up rocks and all kinds of stuff.
100%. So, yeah.
So if you put an extra layer, that might help.
Yeah, that's what scares me about riding gravel. Like, I feel like my poor little bike is just taking so many like little chips because like when you get into a front group on a gravel race, you close your mouth and like hope you don't get crushed because rocks are flying everywhere.
They're probably all riding Gravel Kings.
Yeah, it's so true. Well, Gravel Kings aren't bad because they throw the little rocks, but like I don't know what tire is out there, but I have had chunks of rock go whizzing by my head, and you're like, what just happened?
Ashley has pink Gravel Kings on her pinkish.
Did she get the new
Salsa Warbird? What's that?
The new Gravel Kings?
Yeah, they're pink.
The old one.
They're pink, and she just put them on not too long ago, I guess.
Nice.
Yeah.
I saw those on display, man. I don't know. I don't know if I want to put those ones on my bike though. Maybe Yvonne, you want pink gravel tires on your bike? No, she says she likes the tan tire walls.
I do muck off typically to wash the bike down, but I kind of just like hose it down and wipe it off with a brush type of thing as I'm washing it or a sponge or something. And then I'll let it dry in the stand, and then I'll just wipe everything down with that foam. There's a foam stuff that we used to have at WAB. I forget the name of it.
Well, you didn't do any of that treatment to my fat bike that I let you use for a whole winter.
The hell I didn't.
He just sprayed it with water. That was it.
The hell I didn't. I had that thing. It was. I know it was shining when I gave it back to you.
Yeah. So I'm like, no way. I'm like, okay, Jason knows how to clean his bike.
Look at this thing, sparkling. You can eat off of that.
But I'm making a video. I'm comparing the two products. So you guys will have to watch. Next week will be a quiz, a Q&A for everybody that's listening, and you guys.
For the muck off and the Silka.
Yeah. I have a feeling of who's gonna win. So my barometer is to find out which bike stays cleanest the longest with the different products.
That's subjective.
Yeah.
No.
I'm glad you're bringing this idea to us now so we can help you.
Seriously. No.
Wait, were you gonna ride it through the same puddles?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same route.
Dude, you better get these bikes dirty. I want to see close up, slow motion shots of you just railing mud pits and puddles.
Well, we're gonna do it. We're gonna film part 1, so we're gonna film part 2 here.
This needs to be
same roads.
If you have to set your scale, there's Dylan Johnson tests and there's like Drew Dillman tests. I need some Dylan.
Mine are gonna be above Drew Dillman's test.
Yeah, well, that's not hard.
Because he's not scientific. Mine are gonna be scientific.
Yeah, he did have a good race. I got to give it to him. He did well at
Unbound.
At Unbound, dude. Did you see Chase Works' video on Unbound?
A little bit. I started watching it, and then I didn't get.
When you got sad, did you get really sad and want to turn it off?
Yeah, he just I just he needs to work on his livelihoodness.
Yeah. He has a cool bike, or I don't know if it's a cool bike, but he has a bike. And
what are you guys' thoughts on him chopping off those drops?
He said it was for weight. I think it's cool. I'm all for like pushing the limits and like
Yeah.
doing things differently. I really don't care, but that seems uncomfortable.
Right?
Didn't save
Yeah.
that much weight.
Yeah, it was
Probably
something like
not that
it was
much.
like 40 grams or something
Yeah.
like that. It was crazy.
Yeah, no, it's
And
like
he got
he's lucky
dropped
the
on,
UCI is
and
not
yeah,
around.
I mean he's doing that, and he's got this huge heavy disc wheel on the back. So
Yeah.
you know,
Well, that offset.
Well, I guess
Yeah.
John said he's,
Maybe.
you know, I
Maybe.
thought this was a new thing, but John said that, you know, he sees people, hill climb specialists do, you know, they'll chop off the drops.
yeah, in Great Britain, like so
In
the
Britain,
great
yeah.
like in Great Britain, like the hill climbing scene is like one of the most or
Right?
more
Yeah, they're
popular like racing scenes there, and they modify those bikes to get them as light as possible, but that makes sense. But for a race like Unbound, which
Yeah.
I know it has elevation over the course of the 200 miles, but in reality, like
You got to
as
look
far
for
as
durability. You know, the lighter
yeah,
you make it, the weaker it's going to be.
Yeah, I feel like you cut off.
Yeah.
That's a huge chunk that also you cut off. I feel like that might compromise the integrity of your carbon, but to some extent.
Nah, the structural stuff's across the
yeah,
Up
it's
there.
kind
drops
of what
or
I
stuff.
was
I mean,
thinking.
there's structure in the drops, but it's not like the handlebars and or the stem.
Dude, do you think at any point when he was like practicing with these, he was like
What's up, Zora?
just toasted, and then all of a sudden was on the hoods, and then tried to go to the drops and
Yeah.
just like face planted on his stem?
I don't know that it would
do
make
that.
much difference to me. I don't go in the drops that often, but
Yeah,
I think if your bike, if your road or gravel bike has a proper fit, it's easier to do that. And my guess is I don't have a proper fit.
you know, I
Or
was
you don't
thinking
have the
about
flexibility to be in the drops.
Well,
It
that
could be
too,
that too.
it's
Yeah.
early in the season. Really, I haven't been riding much. So.
I feel like your fit point is a good point. I had a ride yesterday, Jason, and I was just like, usually I'm pretty comfortable on the bike, but it was like back, my hands were numb, like shoulders were tight, and you know, I've made modifications to this bike, but like I feel like the fit is just not right, and I just don't know what to do. But I need to go find a fitter.
Dude, I love watching that Neil Stanbury on
Who?
YouTube. He's a like New Zealand or Australian bike fitter.
Oh,
He's got some YouTube stuff it's pretty cool stuff.
well, there's that system. I forget that. You know, you could have somebody record you.
Velo
Yeah.
fit?
Yeah, develop it. Yeah,
Yeah, I need to do that.
and it gets you in a pretty good ballpark. I feel like.
Yeah,
we
so
use it at the shop.
yeah.
Oh, you do.
Yeah.
I would use it. My thing is that I'm worried that it's going to tell me that I need to be like on like a verve to or like
you
a
need like 6 spaces.
Oh yeah, I need like 6 spacers and like some giant like 25-degree stem that comes
that's
up
pointed
like,
upwards.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
that would be a
there's
bummer.
the ego inside is like, okay, no, I can slam my stem. I'm fine. We're good.
This guy says, I was watching him. He's like, yeah, he says, like 90% of fits, the seats are too high.
Oh,
And
don't tell that to every boomer male on a group ride.
Yeah.
They'll always tell you that their seat's too low.
Yeah.
Well,
but he says whenever he does a fit, like 90% of his things he does is lower the seat. People do too high.
So when you lower the seat, what that activates more quads, right? Like it becomes more quad dominant.
No, it activates. From what he said, I'm pretty sure it activated the glutes because if the seat's too high and you're lowering it, when your seat's too high, you're stretching your leg, you're overstretching your leg to try and get the power to make it feel faster, I think is what he said.
Yeah, I have no idea.
And today when I told you guys when I Mickelson Trail, and man, like the e-bikers, those the Aventon brand or whatever.
Yeah,
people had like I'm like, it's the whole extreme. Like it's like their seats like slammed all the way down.
Slammed the whole way down, and they're just turning the throttle.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, holy cow! I'm like, you could be actually going riding so much easier, just scotch, but I didn't say anything. But we had like maybe.
I get the whole twist throttle thing on an e-bike, but it really just pisses me off. I think it's just.
So I passed this guy today, and it was kind of like we were doing the climb like a mile and a half. So I catch him halfway, and as soon as I get next to him, he cranks that thing up. He's like, "Let's go!" He was not letting me beat him to the top of the hill. He was no way. But I knew he was gonna max out at probably 20. So I was like, well, two can play that game. I usually don't like to do those games on the trail, but today, I had to. I had to for the manual people.
What's funny is they think they're getting exercise by twisting the throttle. I don't know.
Yeah, hey.
I don't know, man. Like, I'm in the opposite camp. Like, I feel two ways. Like, I don't think people that most people that I don't even say most. There are a large segment of people that ride e-bikes that are not out there to get exercise. They're out there to ride their bikes and just like be out and experience outside in a different way, in a way that they couldn't otherwise. And so I'm totally okay with that. And then the second piece that I see too, like, so Trek just released their new FX Plus, and it has a throttle on it. It's a class 3, so throttle up to 20 miles an hour, and then, or class 2, so throttle up to 20 miles an hour, and then you could pedal it up to 28. Like, for me, in the city that I live in here in Chattanooga, which is like when you get downtown, like we got big mountains on every side of us, and so everything's really consolidated downtown, and traffic is like bad. Like,
they don't have a flat down there.
City's done a decent job of putting in like cycling infrastructure, but if people would realize how easy it is to get around the city on a bike and how much faster you can get around the city on a bike, if a throttle gets them there, I'm happy, because that's like a few more cars off the road. Like,
I mean, look at Asia. I mean, there's thousands of bikes and mopeds and scooters and stuff over there. That's why they do it. They get around on small.
Makes sense though. It does.
Yeah. I mean, look,
it does, and a throttle for that, but is fine. But what's the difference? Why even have the pedals if you're gonna have the throttle? I guess. But
because when you get tired, man, you gotta have options. You get tired of pedaling, you switch to the crank.
Nobody ever gets tired of pedaling when you can't crank it.
I don't mind it either way. I'm kind of in Graham's camp. I'll mess with the people. If they want to race me, we'll race for sure, because I love that stuff. But I'm like, I'm more for more people on the trail. It's just, I think the only consideration is how fast those bikes go, right? So when you have a multi-use trail, I think that's the only thing that when we get into that, where we have throttle, some of those things go pretty fast. So
yeah,
and they're pretty heavy.
California's done that, right? Like, I mean, with all those, like, I forget what those, basically dirt bikes are, but that's why they banned like all throttle bikes, like can't go over 20 miles an hour now, I think, in California.
Yeah, so I could see that on a multi-use trail. Like on the road, do whatever you want to do. But on the multi-use trail, I'm like, you have families, kids just kind of running from one side of the trail to the other.
Well, yeah, if you have people walking with dogs and people cycling at 20 miles an hour on a single narrow path, you're gonna have
come in the pit line.
You're gonna have a bad time.
Well,
speaking of which, did you guys?
The main thing is to really pay attention to the other person and give people.
It's courtesy.
But
yes, courtesy. There you go.
That's right. Did you guys see that new adjustable spacer? So you could just twist it and it increases. I think.
How much does it weigh?
It doesn't look like much because they have cutouts, so it's not.
It might be too heavy for me.
Adjustable. So, like, how does that work with like the?
Well, once you put the load,
so you load it,
but it doesn't have to be kept tight. Your stem clamps it tight, and
your stem clamps it tight, but you still need to have something to push up against, like for that little like mushroom mechanism for the.
Well, the spacer it sounds like the spacer is just like a threaded almost,
Oh,
where
I
it
got
just
it. Okay.
expands as
Yeah,
you
I'm trying to
unthread
find
it,
it.
and then it just, I don't know.
Yeah, it just keeps going up. Yeah, you just kind of turn it, clockwise or anti-clockwise, and then it just keeps increasing in height.
It might be cool
And
for
then,
bike fit, so that you can like
Yeah.
change it quickly
Dude,
on the
bike
bike.
fitting, or what I thought you were gonna say was bike packing. Like
Yeah.
or any kind of ultra endurance race where, say like you want to be aggressive, and then like as you start to get tired, if you could raise your stack up a little bit more to where you're in a better, spot, that could be some like comfort potentially.
Get that 25-degree positive stem there,
Yeah.
stem.
Yeah, but you gotta like loosen the stem, loosen
So
the
you can't do it
bars.
on the fly?
No,
No,
you
you
can't.
gotta.
Oh, I'm
Gonna
out.
fly.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'll just add another friggin' spacer. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what's up with the Trek? The new Trek's full SAS bike.
Yeah, what
Any
month is it?
details on this?
It's June, it's not April.
We're in June.
I thought it was an April Fool's joke.
Yeah.
But
No.
yeah,
we're in June.
I saw some images going around of a full suspension drop bar gravel bike. Like, it's not the super caliber. It was like a cross country type setup when it came to the rear suspension.
Where was the suspension? Was it?
It's not. It's not It's not housed inside like the super cal is. It was
Where
like
is
It was more like. It looked more like an Epic.
Yeah.
So like if you look behind you, Jason, like it was like more between like the top tube and the seat tube.
Right.
You'll get there. Yeah, more like right there.
Yeah.
Yep, right there. Can you pull up a picture of it, Aria?
Was there a
Yeah, I was
linkage
trying to.
behind the bottom bracket, or was it just like a flex carbon area?
The only two shots I saw of it were
I'm
like
trying.
action, like staged shots that didn't reveal.
Bike Radar
a whole lot.
has a shot. I guess one of the ultra endurance guys, Justinas Levaker, was using it this year. Let me see if I can share the screen. Pretty cool looking setup. I mean, it looks like one of their top fuels, to be honest. No, what's the other one? The Super Caliber. The suspension is down there, a little bit more exposed than the Super Caliber.
Yeah, it's more exposed. There is a linkage.
Yeah, there is a linkage down below on the what's that? The seat
on
tube?
the chainstay.
Yeah. Looks cool.
Or seat stay. Sorry, not chainstay.
Yeah.
See if I can share my screen here.
I always wondered why they didn't put like little shock absorbers in the seat stays.
Now I think
Like dual seat stay shocks.
Yeah.
Dual.
Yep, dual.
Might as well have two. What would you rather have? Like two 30 mil tires in the back, or one 2.3 in the back?
I've seen the double tires in the front and back where they lace.
Like, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
Like, then you can roll over anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. That doesn't sound. But then you might get stuff wedged in between the double tires.
That's true. You could run a. I don't know.
Have you ever seen anybody hit the old storm grates with a road tire? The old storm drains on the road.
Was in a group ride once where someone nailed one of those and he stopped immediately. Fortunately, we were going pretty slow, probably 10, 11 miles an hour, but he basically wedged his front wheel in there.
Yeah.
And then just like broke the wheel off completely.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was bad.
Train tracks are one of the worst though. When you're crossing instead of train tracks.
Yeah, I got a bad story about that myself.
I
can tell it today or I can tell it later, but
tell it. We want to hear it.
Well, so I had been wanting my wife to go ride with me for so long. I was like, you're going to come ride with me. We got our road bike. We're so excited. We're going on our first ride. And, I got her kitted out, like really nice white shoes, beautiful kit, nice helmet, gloves. She just looked great. Brand new bike. And, I'm riding too. I'm going to take her on this nice, easy ride, like where it's going to be chill, pretty. We'll have a coffee stop. It'll be great. And there's one railroad crossing, just one, and it's at a diagonal. It's like a little bit diagonal, and so I'm like, see it 100 yards away, and I'm like, okay, babe, just watch out for this railroad. Like, we want to make sure that we want to go really horizontal or perpendicular to it, and she doesn't hear me, and so I'm like, hey, all right, this railroad track, and I'm starting to go over and I dropped my front wheel right in and just went down so hard and took off like a softball size chunk of my right butt cheek.
Nice.
And ripped open my jersey, my bib shorts and everything like that. And she's like, we have to go home. So this was like 2 miles into our first ride.
Oh no.
So yeah, had to turn back around, and we spent the afternoon with her dressing my wound on our first bike ride. So
jeez.
Tracks.
Does your wife still drive bikes after that? Seeing that?
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
When she's
Maria, do you have a story like that?
No, I don't.
I do. I was in Charlottesville with Larry and Lindsay, and we come to this little bread shop where we're gonna go in and have sandwiches and stuff. It's a nice little place. Everybody's out and stuff, and the curb is actually pretty high.
Oh.
And we go up there, and I go to wheelie up onto the curb.
Because you like to show off with those wheelies in the city. I've seen that.
And I popped it up, and it was a little bit higher. And when I put my wheel down, it was just too short. And man, the bike went down and stopped, and I went up, and the handlebar came around and caught me in
the boys
in the nether regions down there. Like ripped this huge gash in my shorts.
Oh man!
I was had me on the edge of my seat for a second.
This
I was
like bionic now.
Yeah,
it hit me right underneath the belt too. Dude, I had a bruise on my abdomen, like huge. Lindsay's like,
and you never learned because you're still doing that stuff.
I still do that.
All the
still
time.
do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if Zoran's still in the chat, but he's probably got a funny one that he could share with us at some point.
Yeah, so. Zoran.
We should. Everybody should write in. We should get all our fans to.
Yeah, either most embarrassing, or
exactly.
Yeah, most embarrassing.
Or like close call or something.
Or close call, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think I told you guys my embarrassing bike crash story.
Which one?
when I fell, not even riding anywhere.
You just fell over?
Yeah, so I just got my clips. I started riding clips, and Yvonne and I went to the farmer's market, and then we stopped at our friend's house. And I decided I wanted to leave early, so I just rolled down to the stop sign. So it's Saturday morning, 10 a.m. I unclip, waiting for traffic. And there's a bunch of people. So as I'm standing there, I lose balance. I fall. I couldn't clip out fast enough.
Yeah. I just had one foot clipped in, yeah.
Yeah, boom. And everybody stops. They're like, man, this guy must be drunk at 10 or something. Because it's not moving. So I get back up. And I clip in with the left foot and fall on the left side.
No.
So people just like, yeah, I don't think he's okay. So I get up and the rail is broken, seat's broken. I mean, I think it was like $400 and some to fix my bike. Like without even moving. Everybody just stood there like, man, these black fellas don't know how to ride bikes, Yeah.
Down here, they would say, bless his heart. Bless his heart. He doesn't know how to ride a bike.
All the moms there with their strollers, like, getting away. Like, this guy is probably on drugs here. He's just falling, not even moving. We got to, create some space there.
Yeah. I would love to tell some stories of listeners.
The Zoran says, oh, my God. He broke his jaw and both elbows and ribs in one crash.
Crash is I think a very demonstrative way to put it. I think he dumped it in the parking lot trying to do something funny.
Is that right?
I
Zoran, can
don't
you
know.
clear that up?
Yeah.
Graham is trying to put some bad rep on your name there.
No bad rep
You
on
know?
Zoran. That man's been put together so many times after breaking himself that I think he's like just the $1 million man. But he did have a pretty big beef from what I heard. And his wife was not too friendly to him either when
Yeah.
he did it. I think she was annoyed, which my wife would be annoyed as well.
Yeah, so like you should know this. You're grown up in the family. You should know.
You know, when I was a kid on the BMX bike, I was 12, 13, 14. I'm like bunny hopping bricks, like 9 bricks high, just bunny hopping stuff on the curbs, everything, doing all the BMX stuff. I tried doing a bunny hop on a BMX bike a few years ago. I couldn't bunny hop
How
a
did
box
that
that
go?
tall. It was like,
Man,
I got to be clipped into bunny hop now. That's how sad I am.
if you don't use it, you lose it, man.
I know.
'Cause
You know what
remember
the trick
when
is?
Yeah.
The trick is pulling up on the handlebars, not using your feet at all.
Yeah.
Handlebars, not the feet.
You remember
That's
when
what got me. I tried to jump with my feet. My feet came off.
Oh man, you see, that's why I only jump off of obstacles. I don't try to create air with no obstacle. That's my level of biking.
Kareem, you
If
gotta
there's a
come down
ramp
here.
there,
I'll show you some good jumps down here. We got some good jump lines down here.
Yeah, no, not doing a jump line.
No, it's good. It's only
Definitely don't want to
40,
deal with the
50
cop.
feet. It's all good.
You know how much the copay for insurance would be out of network for that if you broke a couple collarbones, out of network.
I'll dress you up in some armor. We'll be okay.
Yeah, there we go. We'll stitch me up before we go out on a ride.
Yeah.
All right, guys, should we wrap it up?
Yeah, I gotta go
Man,
on a ride tomorrow
Everybody
morning.
in the chat, thank you for joining.
Yeah, super fun. It's way better.
And keeping the
Send
chat
us some stories or something.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Comment your embarrassing story so we can not feel
we
so
want to
bad
know
about our
all of
beef.
them. Yeah, absolutely. All right, you guys close it out, and then we can be out of here.
Yeah, thanks all. We'll see you later.
You better thank our sponsors, man.
Yeah.
Oh, Olive.
Olive.
Man,
Olive.
I've been taking my Olive capsules, and I do think they actually really do help. My resting heart rate is down. That's my little plug for them. I also know that they're going to be one of the primary sponsors at Core 4. So if you haven't signed up for Core 4, do that. Olive will be there. Pete and his crew will be there, which is super cool.
We should work on a discount code with Pete for our listeners and get that to the people.
I want a discount code. I'm out of my first set of capsules. I need more.
I know. You hooked. Now.
I made a big old, we had a Tuscan steak with arugula salad tonight, and I used that olive oil to coat the salad in. So
just throw that on there.
So good. A little Parmesan cheese. Yeah.
Yvonne, did you use our olive oil for the salad yesterday? No, she did not.
No. You're missing out, man. But yeah, go check them out. Olive, OLIV. And then what's our other sponsor?
Reelin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to try some of their stuff. I haven't tried it yet.
I know. I'll get Sam to send you guys some samples there so you guys can have that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome.
Cool. All right, everybody go ride your bikes. Tell good stories.
Thank you all for listening.
See you later.
I'm definitely next time you'll see me, I'll have podium for this race that's coming up.
Nice.
I'm in really good shape right now. I feel invincible. So
look
as long
good,
as I can
man.
survive that 20-mile uphill.
Just rub yourself down with olive oil before.
That's
it's
right.
Arrow and good
I'll
for
be
you.
slippery.
Yeah.
Get in there. I need to get some of those small handlebar stems, like 30s or something, so I can really.
And then
Problem is my shoulders.
Cut the drops off.
Yeah. No, I need the drops, man. I ride in the drops a lot.
You need the arrow helmet.
No way. No way.
Do it.
You have to look good to ride fast. And those arrow helmets, for me, I don't know, man.
Not your thing.
Style over form.
All right, let's shut it down.
All right, guys. Let's end the stream here.